Hello friends and welcome to Bryson City, North Carolina. I'm here in front of the Swain County Visitor Center and Heritage Museum. It is also a location for the National Parks Passport Book cancellation stamp. Welcome. Right out front is this Veterans Memorial for all wars. Hey, this is really cool. The visitor center is very nice. They have a National Parks official gift store over there where the stamp is. We'll get that stamp later. But first, we're gonna walk into the museum, which actually starts here in the first floor, but it goes up to a second floor and it's free. The first thing you see is about the early churches. There's an old organ. And some books from the church too. I like this section about the churches, seeing the hymnals and stuff. I grew up going to a church. I worked in a church for a period of time. I like thinking about the community that was created here in these little small buildings in the mountains. It was like their whole life, were a lot of times were that church group of people. A lot of hard times helped them get through it, I'm sure. It's cool. The school section, some old schools in the area. It's a large school bell. I like the churches, but I'm not such a big fan of the schools, you know. I was never really good at that part, you know, the school part. I liked my teachers, my friends, but I didn't like taking tests, homework. So glad I don't have to do homework. I'm sorry for all of you that still do. Here we have a map of Swain County. You can see the whole Great Smoky Mountain National Park and how big the county is. Right, more than half the size of the park itself. And just as beautiful. This whole area is amazing. Make it here someday if you can. If not, just watch these videos and live it vicariously through me. Today, we are right here in Bryson City. We're gonna be traveling this way a little bit later. On the main part of the museum. An ox yoke and some farming tools hanging on the wall here. In this exhibit about farming in Swain County. Used to have one of those. Still have one of those, the same exact one, and use it. I've done construction for quite some time, home remodeling, flipped houses for a period of time. I have a lot of tools. I really like these old tools. I had some hand-me-down tools from my grandpa and my dad. These are some cool ones over here. Check it out. Some of you still may use these tools. Ones that are exactly like this, too. It's a seed planter. Looks like work. Before television was the radio, and these were some old ones. I'm sure a lot of mountain music was listened to on these. The very first country music recording artist was Fiddlin' John Carson. I made a video about finding his grave in Atlanta, Georgia a few months back. I'll put a link to it right up here. But I imagine Fiddlin' John Carson playing on some of these radios over the years. I'm sure he did. Sewing machine, old school. Kind of newer school, still old. This is cool. It's to make crimping looks in your clothes. I don't really follow what that means or what that style would look like, but it does make me wonder what was the clothing that people wore out here in the mountains back in the early days. Was it different than like the Ohio area or Florida area at the time? I don't know. Probably made most of your clothes. This is one of them. Early 1900s. Here's an interesting exhibit about tools used to dress a hog back in the early 1900s. And then some tools of the cobbler trade, a shoe last. And a common and totally necessary trade was the blacksmith. And here are some of his tools, or her tools. Look at that hammer head. Wow. I bet the hands that used that hammer on that anvil were pretty tough. The Wilma Ash Memorial Theater. Let's see what's playing.
He said, "I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to catch a person."
This is cool. They have some history about Swain County, and they have interviews with locals, just stories that they remember over time. It's very cool.
Some of them shoot up in here a month.
Whole crowd of the people up in there, and they had several children, no way for them to go to school because it was 6 or 7 miles down to the school.
I had one neighbor that take the Bible and tell you fortune about it. And we had to get done with that.
I could sit and listen to these stories of these people all day. That's why I like doing this, is the people and who used that hammer in there and those tools, and what happened in this area. What was their life like? I love this.
And have children.
If you watched my video from the Road to Nowhere, you learned a little bit about the Fontana Dam and why that existed. A lot of these communities we're seeing pictures of, and the churches and schools, are from that flooding. They don't exist anymore, so they're taking the time to show them off here. Town of Judson. There's a window from the post office. Post office in Japan, North Carolina. Cabin life at Christmas. Aren't you glad we have washing machines nowadays? Corn grater. A tribute to the armed forces in the area. There's a cool drill press. Early 1900s drill press. This is pretty cool. This is the Carolina Wood Turning Company. Everyone's wearing white overalls. Logging was the main industry for years and years around here. Wood turning, I'm sure, was a big deal. You know, people made their own things, and my great-grandfather was a wood turner, in fact, in Springfield, Ohio. Wood turners would make things like this billy stick for the police department. Cool. As soon as you walk out of the front door of this museum, you'll see this building right here, the old drugstore. There's a cool display with some old bottles and things. It probably came from there. This is cool. They have an exhibit about all the different industries in the area. Right here, the steam train industry. There's a whistle here. We have some home life stuff. Fly fishing, that's a big thing in this area. I've never been fly fishing, but there's even a museum right next door that's not open today, fly fishing. This is definitely electrical equipment. It would have been pretty new to the area before all the people got evicted from the hills. When the Smoky Mountain National Park became a national park and they evicted everyone in the hills, electricity was not a thing. So all the houses that you see that are left over were just abandoned, all those buildings. Many of them did not have electricity. In fact, maybe not any of them at that time. Nearby is this very cool structure. It's the highest point in the mountains, Klingman's Dome. An old log grabber, some other logging tools. That is a lot of work right there. Those old loggers found a way to enjoy themselves after a hard day of work, I'm sure of it. Here's an old barber chair. Cool. I have that exact setup right there, and I still use it. And it's even the handle's doing the same thing. It's weird, but I use it. I haven't used it in a while, but I do use that, and I use one of those straight razor things. Not a straight razor, but one of these. I use one of those, not one of those. A double-edged razor. I don't know why I'm talking about it so much. I barely shave my face. Tobacco has always been a big industry in this part of the world. Check out this sign. Swain County was established in 1871. Juice harp, I think's what that is. Some jewelry from the era. Cameras. Even some more modern cameras in here. A lot of photos and video have been taken in this area for years and years and years, ever since cameras were available, I'm sure. And it's because it is absolutely amazing around here. The scenery is awesome. Even in town, just looking around town, it's just awesome. This cool display in the middle of the museum. Notice this picture from the road to nowhere, a lot less spray painted on than what we saw yesterday. Here's an exhibit on mountain life, canning, pickling, making pies, muffins, and such. In the video, there was a lady talking about food, and the question was if they ever were scared about not having enough food, and she said never. Their whole lives they always had like a hog to kill, or they had knowledge of all the berries and things you could just go out into the forest and find, and everybody knew about it. Everybody just lived off the land and never worried. The main part of the museum tour is over. Let's go check out the gift shop. Oh, this is very nice. Now, I did not know this until last night. I was walking around and I saw the National Parks logo on the front sign here. This is cool that they have the passport book available here for you to purchase. It's awesome. It's only $10. Patches and walking stick pins all mixed together here. A lot of gift shops around here have these mountain music CDs available. And some Indian music. A lot of these gift shops have these cookbooks from the mountains and like jams and jellies and apple butter and stuff, and I'm getting hungry. Yeah, I got some more of these. This is cool. And a coloring book, Great Smoky Mountains. And they have stickers, Christmas ornaments, t-shirts and hats, and of course a lot of paraphernalia. This one's cool. I haven't seen it yet. It's a hat. I bet it'd be warm. I love postcards. The reason I love postcards is because it's a way for me to share my experiences with you, like tangibly. Pick up a couple here. Traveling around and going to these museums, even though today is a free museum, it costs money. Gas and admission fees and such. And what I've done, like a lot of other content creators on YouTube and other artists, have created a Patreon page. If you go over to Patreon, I'll put a link in the description below, as I do in every video. If you're a $5 subscriber to me on Patreon, you will get a postcard every single month from one of my travels. There's a handful of you out there, and I really appreciate the help. It does make a difference. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. And now, friends, the moment that you've all been waiting for. This is the Bryson City stamp. I love finding places to stamp this book, and I also love cookies, and they have some for free for guests here. Look at this. All right. Thanks for joining me today, friends, here in beautiful Bryson City, North Carolina, at the Swain County Visitor Center and Heritage Museum. I appreciate it. It's really nice to have you along. Friends, if you like what you're seeing, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification button. and you won't miss any of these videos ever again. Thanks for watching, friends. I'll see you in the next video. There's that old drugstore you saw in the museum.